And then from there, when they find a girl or a Mark who's down for that, the next thing is like, hey, if you know any friends that you can bring, then we'll also pay you if you bring these friends too.
Dude, Epstein's
original pyramid scheme.
Part of his game, he would go to high school.
Coming to you semi-live from JustKiddingNews. Okay, the Careful Boys. We're gonna talk about some Diddy trial update.
Ooh, more? Did the other Diddy videos go out already? I hope so.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, I'm against Diddy. How about you guys?
Oh, I was never for him.
I'm gonna wait till after the trial, okay?
Oh, man.
For all the facts come out.
Dang.
Did you guys hear about when Trump was saying something because they asked him about it in the White House?
What'd he say?
They said, hey, Diddy used to be a big friend of yours. Would you ever consider pardoning him? And he said, you know, that's true, we were friends and all that stuff. And then he said, but then he started to say some not so nice things about me and all that kind of thing. And he said, but I'd be open to it, I guess, we'll see.
Yeah, 50 Cent was like, I gotta talk to him. He needs to know.
Yeah, he said he was gonna tell him not to
pardon him.
That's hilarious.
Apparently,
like 50 Cent's hilarious.
50 Cent apparently shared a clip of Diddy insulting Donald Trump.
That's hilarious.
Did you see 50 at? I think he was at one of the NBA games recently, and he's wearing a free Diddy shirt.
Yeah,
that was great.
That's really funny.
50 Cent to me is like one of my fucking favorite people to follow right now.
He's so good.
He's so funny, dude.
Did you see all the free Diddy paid protesters?
No.
Was that real?
I heard about it.
They had a free Diddy like thing, and they're like, people were just standing there, and they're like, well, they offered me $20 to do it.
Oh my god.
Just stand outside.
Yeah.
Jeez.
What are the updates?
Yeah, what is the updates?
I want to watch this.
Gets elected, I really do believe in my heart there'll be a race war. That's why this message is not just to black people. You know what I'm saying? This message is to everybody. This man is really trying to turn this.
Bro, the clips.
Was that Charlemagne?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like, I've been seeing way more like people have been posting more clips of like Diddy's past, like him hanging out with French Montana, and like they're just showing like how weird their relationship is, especially like post all the stories you hear in the court cases, and you see how he's like looking at him, and I guess him and French Montana were on like Ellen DeGeneres, and Ellen goes like, so tell us about how you guys got together, like what started this relationship, and then Diddy looks at her and goes like, it started from love. And he like grabs his thigh and shit, and then it's like quiet. Like I bet he thought he was gonna get a pop, you know. And even Ellen DeGeneres like looks at him like,
She's like, I'm gay, but that's gayer.
yeah, like she like clowns on him, dude. And it's like he just has such a weird relationship.
Like that Mike Tyson clip where Mike Tyson had to pick his.
You know what's wild though is until this story broke and he literally got arrested. If you were to point those things out, you'd just get called a conspiracy guy.
Yeah.
You really would have been.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. You're like, oh yeah, you're taking that out of context. Like, oh, you think Diddy's gay? He's like touches his butt in the leg, so what? And all this stuff.
And it's like it's right there. You can see how
right
uncomfortable everybody is.
I wonder who he made mad.
What do you mean?
The feds.
Well, one of the biggest theories here is that like when people have all this dirt, right? Like, and they can take you down. So it's like you must have made someone mad for them to take you down.
The Dave Chappelle joke, which was great, is he's going down in a RICO case, and he's the only guy in a RICO case. Like, that never happened.
Yeah,
they're not.
It is a RICO case?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what's the network
Correct.
then?
That's the thing.
So they're trying to argue that he created his own network within like his businesses and all.
Well, if there's no one else, then that means everyone else flipped on him.
Yeah, but
You know
why
what I mean?
now?
Like that means they all testify.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And they're going to.
Yeah, because it's like former employees of his, assistants of
They
his.
all got deals to talk then.
Or like he also screwed them over and like now they're just coming forward. Yeah.
I also think that if it's true, like that he's Epscening, right, which is the theory, that he like was filming all this stuff at the parties to use as blackmail, I think Diddy's a small fish. Like if you're talking about politicians, people who can be controlled by these tapes, that's where all the heat is, right?
Yeah.
It's like what we just found out recently, where you know Pam Bondi Attorney General was filmed undercover by one of the former Project Veritas guys, right? Like the OMG guy, David O'Keefe or James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe, yeah.
And they basically got her to say, look, there are thousands of videos of Epstein and Epstein associates doing things to young people. And yeah,
And Bondi said that?
Pam Bondi said that over a dinner to like some maid or something, right? And so if she's saying that, they know who the hell was connected to this. And when they said like, oh, these are all the materials, we got everything. This is everything. They were lying because they have obviously Pam Bondi talked about that. So it's a. I think the bigger fish is way higher than we're all even thinking of. Yeah.
I mean, that's like, because what difference in our lives could Diddy have really made versus someone who does legislation?
Yep. But he is a big enough fish as far as a headline catcher that you feel good about. They got a bad guy, right? Who is doing bad things.
Do you think he's sacrificial lamb? You think he's sacrificial lamb just to distract us?
I 1000% do, because as usual, like Jeffrey Epstein, we never hear about who's actually doing this stuff, right? We hear about the ringleader. We don't hear about who was actually, screwing young people.
Damn.
Yeah, I had the most random, ironic conversation. I was with my cousin. He was like asking about the Diddy stuff, or like what I knew in terms of like what we pay attention to. It's like, who do you think is like worse, like Diddy or Epstein? I was like, what? Epstein? What?
100%.
I'm like, dude, children?
And the lack of released details.
Yeah.
Like if they're keeping those details hidden, it must be worse.
Yeah, because there were. We don't know anything about the trial that went through with Nguyen.
We've known about Epstein for a decade now, at least, right? And we've gotten very little.
It's been
details.
airtight.
Yeah, dude,
It's crazy.
Not one name.
Well, not
There's
the
a new info on Diddy
not
every
the
week.
prior one in Florida, where the two girls that accused them, and there's details of prior accusations that came out.
Yeah, but once again, who was paying Jeffrey Epstein to be with these girls? Name them. They can't. And all we know is that Prince Andrew. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And we only know that because of the picture with Virginia Guffey. We don't even know.
Which they said is fake.
Correct. So
The late Virginia Guffey.
right, exactly.
Oh yeah, didn't she pass away? But she was like, I didn't kill myself.
She committed suicide. That's the official report.
official story. Yeah.
That is just insane that there's no clientele that's in trouble for
Yes.
this.
Where P Diddy, it's like hella people are rolling on him, and there's
hella
mad
people-
stories coming out.
Hell, people are gonna get arrested today on Figueroa for seeing a prostitute. Like they're gonna do time.
Ashley Madison. Remember when Ashley Madison happened?
Yeah.
And it's not even the same thing because it's like just a website where guys were cheating on their wives. But those guys' names got leaked.
Yeah, and some of them committed suicide.
Yeah, legit. Like, ugh.
Yeah, their names got leaked.
So do they actually have, aside from a flight log, an actual list of people from Epstein Island that went there? And do they have video as alleged of like people fucking?
So what's unfortunate is exactly what I was just talking to Nick about. It's like we have all of the in-between stuff. You can see like that this happened. We know that this happened, but you get called a conspiracy person for saying that obviously people were having sex with minors, like while Jeffrey Epstein was filming them. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States, said that on undercover camera, it's not sworn testimony, anything like that. I don't know why she'd just say that to a maid or like to somebody random. She's the Attorney General of the United States. So, and by the way, that wasn't like, that's not new. Like we knew before she said that was the hook, is that Epstein would bring people to the island, big time celebrities, and then that he would film them having sex with minors and they would use it as blackmail. Because CIA, former CIA employees talked about that for I think 10 years or 15 years now, that was happening, and that Jeffrey Epstein was involved after the trial 10 years ago.
And especially if Ghislaine is Mossad, Mossad's like whole expertise is blackmail. Like that's like their main game that they use all the time.
So it's all right there, but
And it's yeah.
So do you think that's the parallel with like Diddy's situation as well? It's more of a blackmail situation, and he's just kind of being puppeted through it.
I absolutely think he's a scapegoat. I think he was I don't even think he's the ringleader. I think he was the scapegoat. I think
because the things that they're focusing on the trial, again, aren't so much about like who participated in anything, and then was there any other foul play versus the specific things that he did.
it's a character assassination job.
I think that's how they have to start because it's what 8 weeks, so they have to kind of build the testimony or the character of like what you said of Diddy to show that like this guy at every corner is a total scumbag, right? And then I think they'll eventually get to the like more of the RICO stuff and the organization stuff as time goes on. But I think they have to just build that.
Unless super high up people are in that, then it's not going to go anywhere.
I'm not holding my breath for that.
No, yeah, for sure.
Because I think the most recent testimony or trial updates include like his last girlfriend, which is a Jane Doe, who's not mentioned, dated him up until his arrest in September last year, and says that he brutally beat her and forced her to have unprotected sex with strangers. Took the stand this week in the sex trafficking case.
Didn't they say something like he would like fuck like 30 times a day or some shit? And I'm like, damn, that's a lot of cum. Like, damn, dude, that's a lot.
That's as much shit as Bart took that day.
They said something like that about Epstein.
Like they're just sex addicts. Like they would be nutting all day.
But they're also on performance enhancing drugs. They're on fucking all kinds of.
Is that what you tell your wife? You're like, look, baby, I can't be doing that. These guys are on performance stands and stuff.
I gotta do the Tonkat Ali. I gotta do that.
I need some ashwagandha.
I gotta use the sex honey. Diddy was using sex honey on people. Isn't that crazy?
His accuser said that 90% of the 3-year relationship was spent in the drugged up freak-offs.
Bro, that's like
90%.
Here's like, I hate to victim blame, but ladies, you gotta run away from rich people faster than that.
Bro, that is like, that's like telling thousands of years of history not to do a thing that everyone does.
That's like
3 years? And 90% of it was this?
But you hear all the stories, and it's like this dude, unfortunately, is just really good at what he does.
Yes.
Like he
Like
knows how.
manipulating?
One, he probably knows how to pick these young ladies, right? He's going after people that are vulnerable,
Yeah.
and that's
low
part of-
self-esteem.
That's part of being a predatory guy.
Or they like want something for their career?
Yeah, and he holds it over. Like you look at the Cassie stuff. Like this dude she was literally trying to leave him. How many times did she try to leave him?
Exactly.
He goes to the parents and is like, "Yo, give me fucking 30K, or I'll fucking ruin her. I'll literally ruin her."
They paid him.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like this constant. I guess that's where the true issue of the power dynamic comes into play, and you get a guy who's so powerful and like actually kind of scary and dangerous.
And where's Jay-Z out of all this? He's not said something yet.
But that's the thing, like, these girls can't just get away from it.
No, I don't think. I wish it was that
big.
simple, but
And also with the casting, it's like when she was 19 and the day of signing her 10-album record deal, he introduces her to oral sex. Like, you're already infatuated with the dude. This is your biggest moment. He's in control of your future. And you, at that time, you kind of
He's
like
been
him.
nice to you.
they're 20 years old, dude. Like they're so young.
These sociopaths always hook you in the same way. They're so nice and cool to you. They shower you with gifts and then make you go like, man, what a great life I have on this side.
And that's what other people were saying about Diddy as a boss, right? Because they were conflicted because the times he was really bad, they were like, yo, this guy is awful. He's a terrible human being. But he would also deliver for these people, his employees. And that's what a lot of the testimonies were saying, is that he would be really great to them and really hook them up and advance their career.
They're like, yeah, he fucked my ass, but he bought me a fucking Maybach.
But I think for a lot of people that are in that situation, they feel like they can't get out. When they're really in it, they're just like, dude, I don't know what to do.
They're also getting gaslit nonstop.
100%. They don't know what the reality is.
And they're also made to feel important by him alone because he did a good job screening them. Yeah. So they're very vulnerable, like Nick said, and they were screened to be that kind of vulnerable. And he knows that like maybe their family situation at home sucks or whatever. So when they're with him, things are at least better. Yes, they have to deal with it. Like 15-20% of it sucks, but 80% of it's pretty damn good. And then slowly 80% turns into 70%, turns into 60, turns into 50, and then they're stuck and there's nowhere to go because they alienated their friends and family and they're with Diddy now.
What do you say to people so that they're smarter than that from the jump, though?
You don't, because you're young and you're naive and you know everything at that.
But I think it starts with picking your mark. Because it's not really smart.
Well, yeah, how do you avoid
like,
being the market?
I feel like that fool picked you, bro.
Exactly.
That fool picked you.
That's exactly right.
And if you take the bait, I think it's really hard to get out.
Do you think that in the world of Diddy's on this planet, there are just some people that have no hope and they will always be a victim to it?
I think that we've been fishing the same way for 4,000 years.
But the other thing though too, how many times have you heard a story about a girl who was dating some bum who doesn't have a fucking job, but this poor chick can't fucking leave this dude that beats her?
Oh yeah, I think everybody has one of those in life.
100%,
Yeah,
100%. But I just mean like, I think it's the personality type that you kind of gravitate towards. And
does every by the way,
Imagine that bum personality also is like rich as heck too.
does every fish swim for the hook? The answer is obviously no, because there's still fish. But the fish that swim for the hook will swim for the hook every time.
yeah,
You know?
and there's plenty of them out there.
Exactly.
There's way more.
That's what predators do is they
That's
pick them.
And remember the way that they were like reeling in like Epstein's Girls in the beginning too?
Kind of same.
Dude, they were throwing money around. Hey, I'll give you a scholarship. I'll give you this. You trying to go to school? I'll help you with this.
I'm saying even easier in the beginning, right? Because like they would grab a girl for cash, right? To just be like, Ghislaine will go grab some girls and be like, hey, you want to make some cash? And this is at a time where when you're young enough in high school or whatever and you want some cash on the side, just go massage the dude. They walk into this pimp ass house, right? And then it just starts as a massage, but then
A handy later.
But then later on, it's like he'll like turn
then it's
over
going in
and
your
it's there, and
mouth.
it's just like and then from there, when they find a girl or a Mark who's down for that, the next thing is like, hey, if you know any friends that you can bring, then we'll also pay you if you bring these friends too.
Dude, Epstein's
Original pyramid scheme.
part of his game, he would go to high school, like he would go to high school events where they would have scholarships and stuff, and where he could donate a ton of money, and he would just pick
Look
these
like a
young
good
girls
guy.
up, bro. And it's just like it's part of. That's how they catch these fools. Like you said, you give them a little bait, you give them a little treat,
Isn't that what Casting Couch used to do? They used to go to
100%,
Arizona State University.
bro.
Bro, it's not much different than fucking tuber scum either. Like how many videos I'll never forget. Like guys always trying to get girls like Nikki all the time. Like, hey, come in my video and then make out with me and like.
Oh, we have a scene. It's gonna be a love scene.
Yeah.
It's like good, and Nikki's like, fuck off, you know. But like, there's girls out there who are like, look, I am working tables right now. Like, I don't have a lot going on. Like, oh, okay, fine, I'll go make out with this guy. And then maybe I'm kind of in.
And they take it for face value. They take it for what it
That's
is. They're like,
And
all right,
then
cool.
maybe
It's just a video.
He'll bring me back for more vids or whatever the fuck, and like that kind of shit. And like that's just what happens.
So what kind of thing do you think, if you had a daughter, knowing that it's inevitable that there's someone that's going to try to take advantage of her, what do you teach her?
From since she's a child, don't fucking trust anybody.
Don't
you're
take the bait.
you're whispering in their ear every fucking time, dude. Like,
Bro, I think
I would just say, what do you want?
just having a father in the first place and an involved one, that already does most of it.
yeah, just involve parents, bro. Like, I feel like that really helps. But then again,
most of the vulnerable are the orphans or the fucking neglected and
Or
like-
people with stage parents.
Yeah, dude. The stage parents are the ones pimping their kids, you know?
Legit. But then look, but then there's also chicks out there who are hella down. Who are like, I don't care if I make out with a guy in a video. Who gives a shit? I'm here to like make my way in Hollywood. I can give a shit. And they don't even view it as like this is a sexual thing. It's like you can't just like categorize and go, oh, all those chicks are victims. All these chicks like are having their power taken from them. It's just case by case basis.
But then let's say you did have that chick that's like, I don't care, I'm trying to climb the ladder, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Is it not unfair that at any point in her life she could now switch and choose to be victim? And just go, hey, looking back, I was taken advantage of, and now I'm making that choice.
I didn't know I was.
She should join the CIA.
Because even if there was video evidence of her saying, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna fuck this guy, that guy, whatever, even if there's evidence of her saying that, it's inadmissible that means she deserves it. They will just be like, oh, how do you feel today? Oh, they took advantage of me.
Yeah,
the court will rule in favor.
Kind of what a former porn star who I won't name did. Where she like, I got taken advantage of on camera or whatever, but then the guys, I guess, they had video of her before and after, and like, hey, like, just want to talk to you about this, like, how you feel about it, and she's like, I'm down, I'm so down, let's go, cunt, and all that shit, and then afterwards, like, how was today, and she's like, oh, it was great, it was awesome, you guys are so, I appreciate you guys so much, you guys fulfilled my fantasy, and all that kind of shit, and then, but then, like, later on, she decided to just bury these guys, like, just bury them, because she decided she didn't want to do porn anymore, and she wanted to look like she was elevated and above it.
Is it because they don't want to take accountability for what they said in the past? Is that what it is? Or is it?
Yeah, they don't want to take accountability for their choices,
I mean,
think.
it could be that. It could be it's a game plan to get some publicity. It could be a whole
know,
way.
man.
You don't know someone's motive.
Also, they could just be like socially weird like that. Some people also just like get really like either paranoia, schizophrenic, like they, you know, some people just get weird.
Also, if someone doesn't want to feel guilty about something, you can do some mental gymnastics in your mind to make it other people's fault.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
Yeah.
it's always on the table.
That part is kind of uncomfortable that like you said, like at any point in time, they could just go, oh, actually, I didn't want to do any of that.
Yeah. That's why you gotta be real careful who you associate with, bro. At the end of the day, you gotta be careful with anyone, especially when it comes to the sexual relations.
Be careful who you fucking suck.
Yeah.
But it's like you gotta. That's why you gotta be real careful, bro. You can't be just fucking any. That's what I'm saying, bro. You really can't. Like I really feel like nowadays, like you gotta be real fucking careful.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Get married first. Lose your virginity in your 20s, bro.
Marry your high school sweetheart.
That's why you gotta do as many daddy-daughter dates
in
as you
case.
can.
Stay away from everybody, dude.
Daddy, daughter, date.
You don't know who's out there, yo.
Don't do that.
Set
That's
the
weird.
example.
Don't do that.
You
That's
gotta
weird. That's weird.
do as many
Don't do daddy-daughter dates. Don't set examples like that.
Set the
Daughter
example.
Just take it out. You don't have to call it that. You don't have to call it that.
Daddy-daughter
It's
dates.
creepy. It's weird.
Daddy-daughter dates.